sunset tonight.
Have you ever wanted to drive a real race car on a famous NASCAR track? The staff at Stock Car Racing Experience will suit you up, teach you what you need to know, and put you behind the wheel of a 160-mile-per-hour stock car on NASCAR's famous Pocono Raceway.
That was great. I enjoyed it. Unbelievable.
It's that unique, one-of-a-kind experience you'll never forget.
It was definitely worth it.
The second time I did it, and I'm still shaking.
Call or register online at 877stockcar.com for a heart-pounding, once-in-a-lifetime experience. You won't forget it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome live here to Martinsville Speedway. That's right, paperclip track here tonight. That's 2 turns with 2 drag strips on each end. It'll be a good one here at the RacinFreeks Sim Racing League, sponsored by Stock Car Racing Experience. As we're here, I think this is the first round, the last stage of the chase here before we get 4 drivers that's going to go to Homestead to buy for a championship. Well, Joe White up in the booth, and tonight I'm accompanied by old Ethan Kurtz. What's going on, Ethan?
Not much. Ready for some good short track racing under the lights on a Saturday night.
Absolutely, and I think that's what we're about to see here. These guys are going to put on an awesome show around here. As like I said before, man, we're here at the RacinFreeks Sim Racing League, sponsored by Stock Car Racing Experience, and an experience that I always say. And folks, hey, if you're in the Pennsylvania area, Pocono, Pennsylvania area that is, and want to experience what it's like to drive one of these things, check those boys out up there, man, at the Stock Car Racing Experience, because they will let you drive one, get around here. Me, like I always said, Ethan, though, if they come up with a convertible or they throw me through the front windshield, I ain't gonna be able to fit in one of these cars.
Yeah, it's tough to get into and out of, even if you're in good shape.
See, you're young, you can do it, man. You probably could like jump from the pit wall right into the window and
that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. All right, well, it's Martinsville. What do you think we're going to see here? What the I mean, what kind of track we're looking at here? I know this place, man, can be very tricky. Brakes are going to be the biggest topic most of the night with tires.
Yeah, brakes are going to be important. You're going to see the front end damage a lot, the nose damage. You're going to see a lot of rear end damage as well. Engines overheat and tempers flare and everything you want in a race.
Oh yeah, definitely tempers. And you talk about tempers a couple weeks ago. Oh, we saw the real Martinsville race. Boy, there's some tempers flying there. So bump and run comes to mind here. Anytime you have a race like this, you got to keep that in the back side of your mind. I mean, it can happen. But these boys out here right now in the middle of practice, got about 2.5 minutes left here. So people got time to get their refreshments. Tell the dog and cat and gerbil and everybody else in the house, be quiet. If you got a wife, you can tell them to be quiet. Tell the kids, put them to bed. Neighbor, hush. We're about to go racing, Martinsville style.
One of my favorite tracks, and one of my best tracks to race on as well. So I'm sure these guys are going to be enjoying going bumper to bumper for 200 laps tonight.
You like this place, really?
Oh, I love this track.
I don't know. I've raced here a couple times. I mean, when I raced in the trucks and I was preparing for one of the league races, I did probably about, I don't know, about 600-700 laps around this place just to get prepared on what I had to do to come into the turns, because it's so tricky to get in these turns slowed down. Brakes, like I said before, and it's going to be the key here. But this also can be a wild card race for some of these guys. Like I said, this is one of the races before. We got 3 races left here. We got this one, Texas, and Phoenix before we go to Homestead and crown a champ here at the RacinFreeks Sim Racing League. You know, so even though Cedric Hunter's sitting on the top, Bob Skinner sitting right there under him, Zach Hall, Brandon Mullen, and then the cutoff line up underneath the other 4 drivers. You got Mark Whitley, Randy Fesh, James Hackworth Jr., and then Robert Moyer. Even with that, this race here could be a turning point for some of those top guys like Cedric, Bob, Zach, and Brandon.
Oh yeah, especially if you get your temper flying, somebody's knocking out of your way, you bump them out of the way a little bit too hard, you get that engine damage, you blow up. That'd be a big hit, especially with this being the first race.
There you go. The one thing though about this place, they do have a fast fix, so they'll be able to get that. Another thing is here, Ethan, we got some stages, get some bonus points here. We're looking at lap 60, 120, 200, obviously. Do got a fast fix, looking about 80% fuel, looking about 105 laps is what they can go. So these guys are probably going to want to push it. Obviously, cautions are another thing you have to keep in mind. But if it went green flag, you can do it in one pit stop.
Yeah, and that's really going to be strategy. Who's going to pit if one of the pit windows open around the end of the stage? Are you going to go for tires? Or are you going to go for stage points and then pit?
Absolutely. Well, I want to appreciate everybody out here tonight, because live here at Martinsville Speedway. That's right, up here in the Virginia State here, Martinsville. They call it the paper clip or a conveyor belt style track is what I've heard the many different names for it. As we're getting set here to go qualifying for the RacinFreeks Sim Racing League, sponsored by Stock Car Racing Experience. Oh, what an experience this whole season has been. Been a long one, but it has been a good one here, Ethan. And I tell you, these guys have put on a show like no other, week in and week out here. Well, I mean, we've got some good cars out here. As the one thing about their qualifying, they have an open style qualifying. So it's almost like the real NASCAR here, where you're going to see all the drivers and all the cars out here trying to make a qualifying lap.
Yes, sir, indeed. That's really going to change when you qualify. If you want to try to get out first, like somebody like Mark Whitley, Zach Hall, I believe, are out there earlier. If you're going to wait to let the track rubber in a little bit, but if it rubbers in, it's going to get warmer, and that's going to provide less grip. Strategy.
There you go. Now, that's another thing. You brought that up right there. You brought up the fact of rubbering in on the track and whatnot. Let me ask you, is that really play that big of a difference at a track like Martinsville, where I'm not going to say you have that high of speeds, but I mean, you do have the speed here, but it's something not like what a Texas or a Charlotte is.
No, but it could definitely affect the way you race if you get into the corner a little bit wrong, get too much grip, overturn it, hit that curb. That curb is, I'm not going to bet on it, but it could definitely be the end of at least one driver's night tonight.
Oh, just saw right there. Talk about curb. Look at that. Cedric Hunter came out of the turn, hit the curb right there, and guess what? Upset the car, and it came around on him.
Yeah, it did, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Those curbs are dangerous, especially in real life. In real life, you have to worry about damage under the car. Here, you just have to worry about exactly what Hunter did, and wrecking the car and getting damage that's going to injure Knight.
Well, and that's what you don't want to do, because he's one of the top guys here. He's got 5 bonus points right now, but Bob Skinner's right there in second spot with him, and they're currently in the points with another +5 on some bonus points, and he got +2 with Zach Hall. So in theory here, Robert Moyer sitting in 8th spot. Not only does he have 8 points behind Cedric Hunter, but he has a +5 points on top of that. So if my math is not wrong, that's what, 13?
Yep.
So 13 total. He can't come out of here. He couldn't come out of here with the lead. Obviously, if he won the race, he goes on to the Final Four. One of these drivers out here that can win this race here tonight definitely can advance himself to Homestead, and it'll be a little bit easier going into the next couple races. I think the tight battle's going to be, though, here. Brandon Mullen sitting right there in 4th in points. He's got 1+ bonus, but behind him in 5th, Mark Whitley. He's -1, and then Randy Fausch, James Hackworth, and Robert Moyer. All 4 of them drivers right there are dead even. So it's only a 4-point gap between Robert to the 5th place guy, and really theoretically only like 6 points from there to the 4th place to make it to Homestead.
A tight racing leads to some of the best racing and some of the intense racing, and that's definitely what you just said and what we're going to have tonight.
Well, and two, if I didn't confuse you with all that math, folks, we'll confuse you even more as the race goes on. And I'll probably get confused as the chase goes on. I got the redneck math going on, Ethan.
Yeah, you said you don't like this new system. You find it kind of confusing, but I like it. I think it adds a new level of drama and TV drama, which we like because we're not racing cars.
And that's true. Always got to have the drama. Yeah, the bonus point structure thing I don't really care for. The chase, I kind of like. I like the original chase, the way they did it before. I liked that one. That was cool. All this bonus point stuff now kind of just really, I don't know. I liked it when they reset them every time everybody was on the even playing field. Now all this bonus point stuff got me all messed up.
I like it. I think it adds a new emphasis on drivers winning, and like we said, new TV drama.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now let me ask you on the question you just said there. It puts an emphasis on winning, but really does it? Because here's the thing: even if a driver wins, and even if it's a chase driver that wins, sure, they get on to the next round. But if you're behind that guy, as long as you keep finishing second and in front of everybody else, you're going to eventually advance too. You got to know how to play that game.
That's true, and I think it's really important if you end up wrecking in one of the races. Those bonus points are really going to come in handy, so you don't lose as much of a gap as you would have if you didn't have those points and whatnot.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I mean, and we've seen it before in some other leagues there that not all about winning. Sometimes wins a championship. Sometimes it's mostly about consistency here. Well, but could we see a win here tonight? See one of these guys advance on into the next round here, punch their ticket to Homestead, and not have to worry too much about, well, what do I got to do? There's a very good possibility, but you've also got guys like Brian Johnson. I call him Byron, but Brian Johnson out there who could pull this thing off. Neil Odegaard could pull the win off and take that win away from one of these top drivers up here. So it's going to be interesting to see what we got going on here. But with that said, Ethan, we're going to grid these things up. When the man on pole tonight, Zach Hall puts it out front. Brian Johnson's going to be in second. Neil Odegaard right there in third. Mark Whitley's going to be in fourth. Cedric Hunter, he's got the Hello Kitty starting it in fifth. Bob Skinner, the rock star, in sixth. Seventh place, Gerald West, call him Jay Wheezy. Man out here running good. Brandon Mullen, well, we saw he's got the Jack Daniels car earlier on. He was out there climbing the wall, and Looked like he had a few too many Jack Daniels for the race, but we'll see if he settles out here. He's starting in 8th. 9th place man, Robert Moyer. He's looking to have a good finish here. James Hackworth Jr. is there in 10th. And Randy Fayos rounds out the 11th place spot. So should be a good race with a good group here and a lot of drama building for the chase here tonight. I'm kind of interested to see, because a couple drivers out here could put a wrinkle in the plans on some of these chase drivers tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be their goal. Obviously, one of the chase drivers, if they can't win, they're obviously going to want one of those other 3 to win, but it's going to be big if one of the chase drivers wins. That could knock somebody else out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to see what happens here. Right now on pole, though, Zach Hall, he's looking to try to win this thing tonight. Punch himself ticket, man, to Homestead here, as a pace car is going to lead these guys off. Everybody gridding up right now. Folks, well, last time, hey, we got about 2 laps here. Pace car's going to take them around. We'll have, 200 laps around here, Martinsville Speedway.
Yes, sir, long race, and it's going to be all about consistency. As those tires wears out, this car is going to hand differently. The brake bias is going to be another big thing. Recently, they iRacing and in real life in NASCAR, they made it so you can change your brake bias inside the car. The way you turn that dial affects the way you brake the car. The more you brake, easier it is to spin out, and vice versa.
And you got a good point right there, because that is the #1 thing that I worked on when I came to this track here, even on the virtual side here, doing it, even on the real drivers when they come here. It's almost a road racing mentality. You've got to woe that car down from some high speeds going into the turns here. And if you got too much on it, you can bring that tail end around real easy, or you can lock those tires up real easy. So brakes and tires, like we said, it's going to be something we're going to be watching throughout this whole entire night.
Yes, it is.
And these guys, man, right now, it's pulling around. I know Ethan, he's over there checking out the Xfinity Series race also.
Yes, sir, I am. They're just going back green. I don't want to give any spoilers. 25 to go in stage 2. It's been a good race so far with a couple cautions.
And that's what we're about to do. Green flag racing, pace cars in. Zach Hall's going to bring them around here. He's got the 28 machine on his outside there. As here we go, green flag. These boys are about to race here at the little, I won't say it's like a cookie cutter style. They call it the conveyor belt, but hey, it's Martinsville. As everybody gets fanned out pretty good. Zach Hall takes the lead, heading off in the 1. He's got Mark Whitley right behind him. And the 28 there, Brian Johnson. Oh, Zach's around. That is not what he wanted to see.
Luckily, didn't hit anything too majorly. I don't think that's the right word, but too severely. I don't think he'll have to use his fast repair that. He might have a little left rear damage. Other than that, he should be okay as soon as he gets to stay on the lead lap.
Oh, well, let's go back here on the replay here. Let the viewers see. Yeah, just Mark Whitley got into the back of him. That's something we talked about. I mean, it's real easy to do. Got some front end damage a little bit on the thing. Like you said, these cars are not going to look pristine come out of here. I mean, they're not going to look the best. These guys are definitely going to have these things all tore up. But just like that, one of the main guys, man, sitting 3rd in points, already in trouble.
Yeah, and everybody likes to say drivers have memory of elephants. They'll remember every little thing. I'm thinking Zach Hall might remember that one.
Yeah, and a bump and run definitely comes out here. Well, got an unusual paint job of a car out here. I've been yelling about it, folks, the whole time. That's right, you see it right there. Robert Moyer's out running around. He got the blimpy car. And you know why he's got the blimpy car? Because, well, we love this camera view right here. It's called the blimpy cam. That's what I always yell about. If you don't like blimpy, well, something's wrong with you, because everybody should love blimpy.
I love Blimpy. It's one of my favorite sub shops, and sadly, they've been closing around here recently. I don't know why, but that's a big bummer.
You done killed all the blimpies.
It sucks.
Wow. Man done messed the blimpies up. But hey, it's a nice looking paint job there. Had the blimpy on it. He's getting in 4 tires of fuel. That's another thing we talk about here is tires. I mean, these guys are definitely probably, caution comes out and whatnot, they're definitely going to want to come in here and get tires at any opportunity they can.
I might disagree with you there. I don't think tires are that big of a deal on this track. Racing at IS a couple weeks ago, it was tires were important, but not as important as I thought they would have been. Almost won the race, but we're not going to get into that. But tires, you can go roughly 100, I would say, on tires if there's consistent cautions. Obviously, if there's a relatively long green flag run, you're going to rather pit.
Oh, okay. Well, good deal. Pace cars in. Here we go. We'll be going back to green flag racing. Brian Johnson's out front, going to lead them around. Neil Ogard, we were just talking about two guys up there that could steal a win here tonight from one of these chase drivers. That man in the 28, the guy in the 99s. They start off green flag in the air. They get a good run, head off into the turn. Now, another thing, which one do you prefer? I think the inside line is the best line around this track.
It depends on the setup. Obviously, this being a fixed setup league, you're going to want the inside, but if you get a good setup, you can run that outside. I know I was making it work some, but inside is definitely going to be the way to go tonight.
All right, well, Cedric Hunter's trying to make waves, and Hello Kitty machine there. He's up underneath the 99. He gets it going. Brandon Mullen has to check up just a little bit there as Neil Odegaard comes in the front side of him. Brian Johnson's checking out up front right now. Cedric Hunter's trying to do everything he can. Look at that, James Hackworth Jr. We were talking about him. He's below the cutoff line, sitting 7th in points. Right now, he's currently sitting 5th, so he's looking to make waves here, come out of here with some good points.
Yes, sir, and every point matters, especially in this format. Like we were saying earlier with those bonus points, and there's really tight racing off these quarters. And in journals, you see the 99 and the 20 almost make a little contact there.
Yeah, 99-20, man, right there. What's going on, George? What's going on, Yabba? How y'all doing out there tonight? Tina's out there, man, chatting up a cool breeze. Obviously, I've got the wrong chat here, but I just looked on my phone to see it. We got a huge wreck. Talking about old Brandon Mullen, he's involved with that one. Wow. Just how quick.
A little bit of a parking lot situation there. Everybody had to get stopped because they had nowhere to go.
All right, let me rewind it back here and let me see. Oh, boy, he looked like he went into the turn just a little bit too hard.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for both of them. Looked like they made pretty good contact. I'm not sure if they'll have to get their fast fixed done. I think they will. The 20 looked like he had to take the tow truck back to his pit stall.
Oh, yeah, the 99 just got right in the back of him and shot too much speed going into the turn. Well, I know somebody in the chat's going to be like, well, that looks like one of those Denny Hamlin moves, man, the other week there. Randy Fayos got stopped. Gerald West got stopped. But, boy, right now, chase runners, well, they're taking a hit here on this track.
Yeah, I noticed the 99 hadn't gotten as good of a restart as he wanted to. He started second and he starting to fall way back, and that is just adding insult to injury.
Yeah, it was. You hate to see that on his end. Let me adjust my thing here because I might have to read my actually, you know what? Trying to get it to where I can read the chat. Watch everybody. See if I can see it this way.
Cedric Hunter, one of the ones that pitted under that caution, will have fallen back to roughly 3rd place, I believe, after this comes back out. A lot of people pitting the second time around.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, I might do it on my phone here. All right, let's have bring up my chat here. Hold on a second. I like interacting with the people out there. You know? So I see we got Tina out there. We got George Gibbs out there, man. What's going on? How you doing tonight? These guys, man, looking good so far. Definitely typical Martinsville race. Brian Johnson's a man out front. He's trying to look to hang on to this thing. Oh, I lost Ethan. Oh, we're just losing them all tonight, ain't we? Ethan, I think, got a little disconnected right there. Give me 1 second, folks, here. I'm going to fix my chat to where I can actually see y'all talk. Hey, what's going on, Jeff? I'll bring up my chat thing here so I can actually see y'all talk. I want to be able to sit here, man, and chit chat with y'all. There we go. You got it. I lost Ethan. Don't know what happened. He kind of got disconnected. Maybe he'll come back in here in a few. So, good deal. All right. Oh, we got Ethan back.
I'm back.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt right there. Well, I got my chat thing up for all these drivers out here. That way we can talk to all the people. Or I can see all the people that I want to talk to out the chat. We're back green flag racing here, folks. Lap 17 of 200 here. It's been a good one so far. Brian Johnson's up there battling it out. Boy, I'll tell you what, it's a war going on between Zach Hall and Mark Whitley. Remember earlier on, them two got into it a little bit.
So they did. I'm loading back into the simulator. If I'm not
No, that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah, take your time. And right now we're in the green flag. Out front, Brian Johnson still the man out front. Cedric Hunter's right there in second. Mark Whitley in third. Zach Hall sitting in fourth. Bob Skinner fifth. Gerald West, another one there in sixth. Wow. Yeah, even telling everybody, whoops, sorry. He'd be all right.
loading back in. I'm presuming Brian Johnson's still leading.
Brian Johnson is still leading this one. 28 machine right there out front. Cedric Hunter is trying to chase him down, but boy, Brian Johnson's almost got a second lead. He's got his hands full with Mark Whitley, as Mark Whitley now has actually Zach Hall looking up underneath him. They're going to try to take that point right there. Well, folks, we'll keep you updated here. There's the points system as it is right now. Tells you the 8 drivers to look for out here, and the 4 that up at the top. So we got a battle for second spot. Look at Mark Whitley on the inside there of Cedric Hunter. And we got a crash.
They stay green. Everybody was able to keep it relatively straight. A little bit of chaos as Mark Whitley trying to avoid pit road. And track's so thin, these cars can only become so skinny.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. You know, the track's skinny, small, whichever way. I mean, these guys get out here, and guess what? There's just nowhere to go. I mean, it's just one of those deals.
Yeah, wheel spin's a big part of this track here. If you get a bad restart or come off the corner wrong, I know I almost wrecked a couple times a couple weeks ago. So I talked about this a couple weeks ago, thunderfoot the gas, where I mashed the gas pedal as hard as it would go. That's going to create wheel spin. The tires are going to want to go, but the car's too heavy and it won't. I think that's what we just saw right there with Cedric Hunter getting into the 77.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we're seeing throughout the race. What's going on, Ray? How you doing out there? Well, I'll tell you what, I appreciate everybody stepping in here, watching this one. It's been a good one here from Martinsville so far. Typical Martinsville style race. Now, Brian Johnson's coming out here. He's trying to rain on the parade here of these chase drivers and still a win away from some of these guys out here. That way they'll have to work even harder for the next 2 races, which would be Texas and Phoenix coming up.
So you see Jerry West get a little bit of scared there, get loose off the turn 2. Saved it, lost some more spots, so I'll have to work to get that back up.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, Mark Whitley's the one who's definitely been having his hands full all night long here as we're running around. And looks like Robert Moyer's taking a safe route. Just back there hanging out just a little bit, trying to be what he can. Neil Odegaard's at 99. Brandon Mullen, though, looks like he's already out of this one. Here's the thing about that, Ethan. We talked about it. Brandon Mullen right now came in here 4th in the points. He's only +1 ahead of Mark Whitley. Boy, he could really have a hit in the points if he doesn't get back out there. And as of right now, it shows him disconnected.
See, Joe, that's when I said the bonus points would have been handy.
Well, he had 1.
That one might not be enough, though.
Wow. And stay out there racing.
Well, that's really...
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, look. I'm just saying.
Really unfortunate for him. He's going to have to work hard at Texas and Phoenix to make those back up.
And that's right. I mean, he still does have 2 races. I mean, even though we look at it this way, he's got 2 races to be able to move back up here as we're watching that. But it's going to really help out guys like, you know, Mark Mark Whitley, Randy, James, and Robert right there, who are going to probably benefit the most from this. And definitely, well, Mark Whitley right now, even though he's in 6th, we'll be able to leapfrog him, and he's going to get up there. Zach Hall still in 2nd. The biggest thing is one of these guys here, one of these chase guys, would love to come out of this race with a win instead of finishing out 2nd. Although we go to Texas next week, Texas is not a bad track, but then we go off into Phoenix. Phoenix can be kind of another tricky track.
Yeah, I got permission. I'll be driving that one. A special car. I haven't announced that yet, but I'll be running. That's one of my favorite tracks, statistically one of my best tracks, along with Martinsville and Watkins Glen. But such a fun track. It's tricky, but it's a ton of fun if you can drive it correctly.
All right, well, there you go, folks. Got the announcement. Going to see big old Ethan Kurtz out there in Phoenix here in the next couple of weeks. He's going to jump out the broadcast booth and jump inside one of his cars. Told he's going to do a cartwheel on the backside and head off in that thing.
Man, hoping to do at least a little better than that.
Backflip, somersault, right into the front window. I don't know.
Make it entertaining, at least.
There you go. Hey, why not? Man, make it entertaining. The man says, heck yeah. Well, looks like Zach Hall's trying to run down Brian Johnson up front. He's running a little bit faster lap times, about 19 seconds, but he's still got a 1.8 second lead over that second place man right now. Cedric Hunter got the Hello Kitty machine running in 3rd. Bob Skinner, the rock star. Got a good battle going on between Hero and Mark Whitley. Neil Odegaard, the first man a lap down. And Randy Faust right there, he should have a good run. Gerald West, like I said with him before, he's sitting there in the 8th spot. Robert Boyer, that's right, folks. He's got a blimpy can. Blimpy. I like saying blimpy for some reason. It's a cool word to say.
Yeah, I think we've noticed that. Speaking of him, he's been one of the most consistent drivers this year. Maybe not the best finishes, but he's been consistent, and that's really what pays off, especially in such a long 36 race season like this one.
Well, you know, we talk about it too, him sitting 8th in points right now, and Brandon having the problems he's having. Even if it finished out right where he's at right now, he might not get up there, but he's going to probably gain a little bit there. Wouldn't know calculated wise where it would put him at, but it still would help him because Brandon's going to fall. I got a feeling by this one's over with, Brandon's going to fall out of that 4th place spot. Mark Whitley keeps up to where he's at, he's going to move up into it. Randy Faust right there. Hey, I always said it. He's got the Cartoon Network Flintstone machine. Flintstone on crack, that is. And running good around here at Martinsville Speedway so far.
My bad about that, yeah.
Well, here's the one thing I've also noticed, Ethan. These guys haven't gotten away from each other. They've all been kind of nose to tail. The only car that's been able to pull away the most here is Brian Johnson. He's still got a 1.5 second lead. And that's kind of evened off there a little bit with Zach Hall. Zach Hall was putting down some very, very fast times out here. And then he kind of leveled that off. Like last time, he's only put down maybe a couple hundreds. Yeah, about a couple hundreds.
Yeah, I've noticed that lead slowly been shrinking. It's shrunk a 10th there in that lap. And Zach Hall maybe saving his tires a little bit better. Like I said, tires don't matter as much as like at Texas that we go to next week, but definitely still important, especially if you start wearing those tires out, wearing those brakes out, and missing some corners.
Absolutely. Well, Robert Moyer trying to make waves there. Moves it up in the 8th spot right behind Randy there. He definitely is trying to play the safe game, I believe. Why not? Come out of here, you never know. As we got a massive race going on right here. Bob Skinner, James Hackworth, Mark Whitley, and you got Randy all right there in the nose to tail line. You got Neil Odegaard lap down car in the middle of them.
That can be dangerous. Is something like an accordion effect can happen as you see them all bunch up as they go into the corners there. If somebody breaks a little bit earlier than they expected, they could be plowing right back into them.
Well, that's what we talked about. You know, like I say, Bob Skinner or James, one of them, like you said, they break a little bit early, let off the gas too early, want to get the back end of it and push them on through the turn. It's just how fast things happen here at Martinsville. You just never know, but you got to look, all 5 of those cars right there in a single file line. They are nose to tail storming around this place with lap 43. Oh yeah, folks, we're looking for lap 60 as our first one for the bonus points. Now, Brian Johnson would take that. And see, that's another thing that you got to think about too, Ethan. If you're a chase driver like Zach Hall sitting in second spot, you talk about the bonus points. You only get those here if you're leading. Brian Johnson could take those valuable bonus points away at lap 60 there that Zach Hall or Cedric Hunter or somebody needs.
Yes, sir. And I believe Zach Hall, obviously all the chase drivers want those, but preferably if they don't get them, they want somebody like Brian Johnson who's not in the chase to receive those bonus points and make sure none of the other drivers get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's definitely right there. I've seen guys do pit strategy, but we already know at this track that they could take this thing well into past 100 laps, especially with the caution we've had already and everybody coming down getting full tires and fuel. They're definitely going to be able to. So Brian Johnson, as long as he holds on to where he's at, he's got an 8/10 lead right now. It's about 8/10, so Zach Hall is cutting into it. But if Brian keeps holding on much longer for about another 12 laps, well, you know, he definitely could take it on there. It's just, I don't know, the closing there, Zach, he's coming on strong.
Getting there's one thing. That's easier than getting by him, and especially, I'm sure everybody like Cedric and Bob and everybody in the chase is going to want Brian to race Zach pretty hard to make sure he doesn't get those points.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want to hold him off here with Brian Johnson definitely out front. He's got about a 6/10 lead now, almost about a half-second lead there. He sees Zach Hall closing in, but he's got about 10 laps to go before he can hang on to that first part of it.
You know, the laps shrinking quickly here. 22nd lap times, very quick. They hit 19.1 second laps of qualifying, but as those tires start to wear, those brakes start to fade, those lap times are going to increase, but still, very quick. A lot happens in the blink of an eye.
You know what? I'm noticing something. There's a little bit of damage on that left side, or right side, excuse me, there, Brian Johnson. Don't think it's going to hinder you too bad here to track like this, because the speeds here, I mean, you go at about 100, 110 maybe, but you come all the way down to about 60 mile an hour, 65 mile an hour, so forth in the turns. Yeah, you hit about 120 right there, so they are doing pretty good speed, but you got to bring it way, way down. I'm not going to say the draft. Draft really just don't play a factor here, so aerodynamics not as important as it would be for like a 1.5 mile track.
No, not at all, but those still can affect you, especially if the car behind you does not have damage, and you know that damage may allow somebody to enter the corner a little bit harder, a little bit quicker than you, what could be the difference in getting those stage points.
Well, the next question to you here is if Zach Hall gets on the back deck lid here the next lap or so, does Brian Johnson let him go by here knowing that he's a chase contender, or does he keep battling him and take away those bonus points? Because it's definitely something Zach would love to have, because I could leapfrog him up there. See, sitting in third right now, he's only got 2 points, bonus points, as opposed to Bob Skinner and Cedric Hunter. They both got 5. Interesting
observation I made. Zach Hall, Brian Johnson in the same team channel and team speak. I'm assuming that means they're going to be teammates, which means they might race each other a little bit differently, maybe a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, looks like Zach Hall, though, that last time by, as you can see, already got glowing red on those things, but he's coming out of the turns a little bit wiggly now. I think those tires are starting to wear a little bit. I'm going to tell you what, look at the brakes. That's what we were talking about earlier on, Ethan. That's just how much brakes they use. I mean, they're already glowing cherry red out there.
Yeah, but luckily for them and these drivers, unless your brake fails in your sim rig and in real life, your brakes are not going to fail in sim, which means they get that cool effect of glowing red, but they won't fail you.
They do fade, though.
They do fade.
They do fade. Yes, because we don't see it often in oval. Road racing is where you will see brake fade at. If you do a lot of road racing, and where these guys will see it is obviously when they go to Watkins Glen or Sonoma and whatnot, they'll experience it. They might experience it a little bit here if they was doing about 300 laps, 400 laps. Yeah, 200 might not be enough to do it, but yeah, the oval side guys don't feel the brake fade as bad as the road racers, but you can feel that here. You can actually feel your brakes to where you start mashing down on it on your sim, like you said, and then that car just don't want to stop like it used to.
That brings up the point of messing with your brake bias. The more front brake bias you have in those cars, the more front brakes you use, that could wear him out more, and that could also affect the handling of your car if you had less in the right, in the rear, and in the front, and the caution's out.
The caution is out. That's going to mix it up. And we were just talking about who's going to take that valuable bonus point. That's James Hackworth Jr. Now, he's right there along with old Robert Moyer sitting in 7th in points. Got to keep that in mind as he punches that inside wall. Just lost it coming out of the turn. Well, no question about it now who's going to lead that first one here. As it's like Brian Johnson's going to lead that lap 60 there and take that bonus point away. As I say that, Mark Whitley stays out, so I don't know if he had to actually lead the whole. Whoa, they make contact on pit road. You see that? Normally you don't see that.
I did not. I was looking at Mark Whitley, but I believe Mark Whitley will actually win the stage as they're coming across to finish lap 60 this time by staying out. That strategy I was talking about coming into play. I'm kind of surprised he didn't pit, because the lead lap car, or the cars that just pitted this time, would not have caught him. But I'm sure he'll pit next time, or maybe just stay out this caution.
Yeah, and it's kind of odd there with Zach and Brian pitting nose to tail. Brian went into his pit stall. Zach couldn't get slowed down and punched the back end of him right there, and then took some optional. Yeah, Mark Whitley stayed out. Unless he comes in for the pits, I'm about to get confirmation on. I mean, I think you're right as far as him taking that bonus point, because he led the whole lap. Brian Johnson led him to lap 60, crossed the line, was the leader at lap 60, but I think you have to lead the whole lap. I don't know how it works 100%, but I think you're all right. Mark Whitley would have got that one, and now he comes down on pit road, so he's definitely trying to take advantage of some of those bonus points.
And his greed numbers, if I'm not mistaken, do mean he's a chase driver, which are really going to put him at an advantage going into Texas and Phoenix, especially if he can win the next one with that nice buffer.
Well, here you go. Brian Mullen, we were talking about it earlier, the man that's out of the race. Well, Mark Whitley's the man sitting right there on the cutoff line. He's 5th. Brandon Mullen sitting 4th. Brandon has 1+ point over him, so it's 2 points between them two. So as of right now, if the race was to end, he'd leapfrog him because he's sitting in 9th. And Brandon's sitting well, now he's up further, but he was sitting in 9th. Brandon was sitting in 11th. Plus, if he did win that stage, he got that bonus point. So I had to jump him over.
It's part of that drama. It's not just on the track, but it's in the strategy and the minds of the crew chiefs and the drivers as well that really add another layer to this race as the pace car pulls off.
Yeah, it does. Here we go back green flag. Another guy to look at, Blimpy man himself out there, Robert Moyer. He's looking to make waves here and definitely can. As here we go, green flag in the air, doesn't get the start he needs. Brian Johnson's on the inside. Look at Bob Skinner drove that thing into the turn. Problem is when he does that high line's just not going to hold like he needs. Mark Whitley, he's right there behind Robert Moyer. Now, Robert, he's definitely going to want to try it. If he comes out of here in the top 3 finish, that's definitely going to help him big time coming out of this race.
It is. See Brian Johnson start to pull away now. He just looks faster than everybody at this point in the race. Did not get the pull, but that call is sitting way back in the field now with damage that's really going to affect him.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely right there. Zach just way off the pace with the front end damage. Now, the front end damage shouldn't hurt him too bad, but then again, it could. As Robert Moyer's doing a very fine job. Got Mark Whitley right there, Cedric Hunter. Always talking about, Robert, he's a good guy, man, here. And he just comes out here, wants to have fun, race his car. And he's got his hands full now. That is 77. Like you said, catching and passing. That's 2 different things. What's going on, John? How you doing?
And that's where you see those tempers starting to flare. You catch a guy, but they're not going to let you go. They're still racing for position with your lap car. That's different, but still, positions mean everything, especially in the playoffs.
Well, you got to look. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. They're all chase drivers trying to punch their ticket in to Homestead. Robert goes a little high that time. Going to get a run for the 77. Well, he got loose coming out of the turn. Brian Johnson, the only man up there that's not a chase driver, dominating this one right now. Bob Skinner's looking to have a good points night. He's sitting 2nd in points. He's sitting 2nd in points right now. Cedric Hunter is the man that's leading them coming in. So good battle between there. They actually would swap positions if the thing was in right now. Mark Whitley again. He's sitting at that cutoff line, 5th place man right there. And then you also got Robert Moyer, who is 8th in the points. But he definitely, hey, if this thing was to end right now, he'd make a showing. And I'd have to say he'd probably come out of here around 5th or 6th place.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of simulator issues. I'm trying to get back in there now, but
That's fine.
drama.
Hey, you gotta love it. It's points, title, man, time. You'll be in that when you get into chase stuff coming around. But he's holding his own with the Blimpie car. Hey, John, check this out, man. We got us a Blimpie car out here. That's right. Don't blink. It's Blimpie time. And you know what that means. We'll flash up Blimpie cam. But say he got a Blimpie car with a Blimpie cam, and everybody loves Blimpie. So there you go.
Just making me hungry every time you say the word Blimpie.
It's just a cool word to say. It's just fun. It's a fun word to say. It just sounds fun.
Rolls off the tongue well.
It does. Blimpie.
Back
Well,
up.
What's that? You back up and running?
Yep.
All right, good deal. Well, tell you what, let's do what, man, everybody likes to do here. Let's do it the OSR Network rundown order here. Brian Johnson, the man out front, definitely is looking good. Started second, currently leading this thing right now. Is at 68 here, the 74 laps tonight. Bob Skinner, the rock star out there. Shame on him. Took the girls on the pole off the doggone hood of the car. That ought to be a shame. But hey, he's led one lap, got him a bonus point in tonight. Currently sitting in second spot right there. And there it is, Mr. Blimpie man himself. Got the Blimpie sub cam machine going on. Sitting in third place, Robert Moyer. Looking good right now in that 16. Right behind him, Mark Whitley. He's led about 4 laps tonight. So he's definitely gotten some bonus points for leading and whatnot. Definitely valuable one out here as he's currently in fourth. Behind him, Cedric Hunter. Little tore up man in the cat machine, but he's got Hello Kitty waving at the world. Sitting in fifth. 6th place man, James Hackworth Jr., Hot Wheels runner out there. Man got a Hot Wheels machine sitting in 6th spot. Neil Odegaard there with the 99 machine in 7th place. 8th place man, Randy Fayos. I always said, Flintstone on crack machine out there running fast right now in the 8th spot. 9th place man, Gerald West. He has got all guns loaded out here with the Smith & Wesson machine. Currently in 9th comes Jay Weezy right there. Behind him, Zach Hall. Got a punched-in, mean-looking nose right now. Guy got one of them gorilla-looking bulldog machines in the 32. Currently sitting in 10th. And the one car that's out of this one, chase contender there, Brandon Mullen, unfortunately out of this. And takes us back to the top side man there, Brian Johnson, who is leading this one. And that's the OSR Network rundown order.
Like you said, Brian Johnson starting to pull away a little bit. His lead's starting to grow on Bob Skinner and Robert Moyer. Robert Moyer, and really the rest of the field behind him, with the exception of Zach Hall and Jerry West, really nose to tail battling for that third spot.
Absolutely. Well, Brian Johnson's not a first-time winner. He has won in this series before. Just with work and life stuff, he's just not been able to compete like he normally used to. Is why he's missed the chase. But he will be the one who's not in the chase if he keeps up with the pace that he's going. He's got a 1.6 second lead over Bob Skinner there, Oliver. So he definitely can run this thing. But Robert Moyer, hey, he is a first-time winner if he can get up here and win this thing. But third place, I think Robert would actually be out there and probably start throwing subs at everybody.
I need to make sure to throw a couple up here, but
yes,
everybody, now that Mark Whitley got that stage 1 point, really all the chase drivers behind Brian Johnson, like Bob Skinner, Mark Whitley. Well, Mark Whitley's going for a second stage win to extend that gap, but Cedric Hunter, James Hackworth, everybody else in the field, Randy Fyash, really going to look to make up that gap a little bit and get those stage points.
Well, here's the thing, too. If we take away from Brian Johnson being up front leading this one right now, any one of these guys out here, even though as much as we're putting emphasis on bonus points, this and that, if one of those guys was to pull the win off tonight, hey, they're automatically kicked into the next round of 4, which is the final round, going into Homestead to vie for the championship. So that's the one thing that's in the back of their mind. Talked to Robert before this race here. Didn't really care for, the Martinsville track, which just can be a tricky place at times. But it's a track that you got to be very careful. And he goes way high right there. Went in too high in the turn. Well, Mark Whitley lost it going into the turn.
That could, I'm not sure if it is, but that could definitely relate back to that brake bias thing. If you try to get on the brakes too much and that car starts to get squirrely, you're going to have to save it. If you get on the brakes and it doesn't brake enough, you're going to have to save it as it shoots off into the corner.
Now, no doubt, we just saw right there, almost got to the rear end there of it. Boy, he's got his hands full. That car's eel handling coming out of the turns right now.
That's a result of this racetrack, is they're just pulling this. That Brian and Bob, would like to see that as they pull away more. Brian's still extending his lead, but I mean, this track is so crucial, and not to be necessarily good at, but consistency, but to be consistent at, because consistency pays off.
Absolutely unfortunate sight right there. Zach all 4 laps down already and sitting in 10th spot. That's going to take a hit on the points for him tonight, because if we keep looking at it here, he's 3rd in points. Mark Whitley could come out and look at the move Cedric Hunter's going to do here, though, as he'll go door to door. He dove it down in that turn right there on Mark Whitley.
He did, and it's early in the race. We're not even at halfway yet. Oh, as he misses the corner, gets into the grass a little bit there. That's going to reset his progress, maybe push him back a little bit.
Well, what happened right there is what you talked about. Too much brake going in, too much speed going into the turn. Had to whoa it down, went up on the apron in the grass, tapped the wall a little bit, lost some momentum going in. Well, this is a tricky place to manage. But what I was going to say before is we're talking about Zach Hall being back there in 10th spot. He is 3rd in points, +2 ahead of Brandon Mullen. He's got 2 bonus points. But we already know Brandon Mullen way down here. But Mark Whitley could be the man who benefiting from this. And Robert Moyer definitely could be benefiting this one. We're coming out of here if this thing was to end now.
Oh yeah, that'd really help them. That's, 2 spots at least that they're going to gain from cars that have wrecked out?
Absolutely. That's a awesome thing right there. So Mark Whitley's been trying to work on the back end there of Robert Moyer, but he's been very, very consistent. And here's the thing, look at Robert. He's gaining on Bob Skinner. I'm going to tell you what, the 16 Blimpie car, he must have put some Blimpie power underneath of it, because he's doing very good, and he's running down the Rockstar. Tina's getting nervous out there already.
That's not the sight Tina and Bob want to be seeing, but that's the sight Robert and the cars behind him want to see, because that means they're catching Bob as well. Absolutely.
Well, still up front, Brian Johnson. That man's checked out into a new zip code up here. Got his whole world happening. He's 3.3 seconds ahead up front, running around this thing. About to run down Gerald West up there, put him a lap down. So Bob Skinner's doing everything he can. Bob's got his hands full here. Robert might be doing the plan the right way here, Ethan. Taking it easy with that car, not trying to abuse it, and the tires might be paying off for him.
Yeah, they're saying, well, thank you. You saved us right now, so we're going to save you and let you catch up.
Well, the one thing about it, watch Robert. He goes in high, comes out to turn. Mark Whitley tries to get a run on the inside, but cannot hold that car coming off the turn. We talk about brake bias going into turn so much, but we also haven't talked about throttle control coming out. Very easy to lose the rear end of one of these cars coming out of the turn.
And it's not just throttle control, it's line choice, I guess. If you enter higher and arc it down later into the corner, you might waste a little more tire, but you're going to enter straight off, which means you're going to have more exit speed, and maybe the car will get a little too happy based on if you're slower out of the corner or something like that.
Absolutely. And the one thing I think Robert might be doing, setting up the 77 there, letting him get a nose on the inside of him, then he just cannot get the power coming off the turn. Like you said, he's letting that thing then just slip out from under him, and he's able to get back out there. So Robert's using that low and middle groove to his advantage. But here comes the Hello Kitty there, Cedric Hunter, back up on the back deck lid. So these 3 cars right there, nose to tail right now.
That's not necessarily, I would say, to his advantage. He lost 2/10 that lap as they come into turn 4 and cross the lines. Here we'll see the gap. And he loses another 3/10 to the leader that time. That's just not looking good for him, as he's fallen back to 9/10 behind second place Bob Skinner.
Oh, yeah, well, he almost lost it coming out of turn right there. Kind of got a little bit loose. Tire wear might be the thing. We're at lap 98 here of 200. Now the 77 got the high line on him. He's probably going to use that to his advantage. Whoa, as I say that, Robert had to blow up just a little bit right there as Cedric Hunter went on the outside.
And maybe not enough brake, overshot the corner, getting there a little too hot, or maybe too little brake in general.
Absolutely. Well, this right here, this track is definitely a very, very tricky track. It's, you know, like I say, you got to get into the turn right, and you got to get off the turn right. Not so much the straightaway. It's a drag race on the straightaways, but then you got to get settled down in time, and then you also got to get off these turns in time.
And something I'm wondering, we don't do it a lot here, at least I know the fast guys don't do it a lot here. I hang out with one of them. They don't downshift here. Some tracks like New Hampshire, which is very similar to this one, just a half mile larger, some of the cars downshift there, but there's more grip here. There's virtually no grip here at Martinsville, which means I'm wondering if they're downshifting a little bit, they're getting really loose off that corner. That might make a little sense.
Well, you know what? I can tell you whether or not they're downshift or not, because we got a little tattletale needle that'll actually tell us that. And I don't think any of these guys here on a fixed style setup will downshift. Now, one of the tracks I do know of, Gateway, that one comes to mind that I know in the trucks that I normally used to downshift in the third and one of the turns there, because they got the push coming off the turn a lot better. And what you just said, you had to be careful though, because if you hit it too soon coming off the turn at third, it'd bring that rear end around.
Yes, sir, as you see, Zach Hall, lap traffic, he got back out on the track. He actually gained a lap, but looks like Brian Johnson started to catch back up to him and put him another lap down.
Yeah, halfway there's, we're looking at 105 here lap. And the next stage, here's the next one we're looking for, lap 120. So, could be another one here taken away, bonus points wise. Now, obviously, you get bonus points for leading too. All these guys up here led. Mark Whitley's led. I think now Cedric Hunter has not led any. Bob Skinner's led one, so he's got his obviously. And then you know, so that's something you definitely want to look and be mindful of also. You know, Robert Moyer's still running in the 5th place spot. He's trying to stay in front of that man right there in 6th. And the man in 8th place right there, James Hackworth and Randy Fast, because he could leapfrog those guys here and points coming out of here.
Yes, sir, he will. And I think maybe a little bit of strategies take place for as you see the, I believe that, what car was that? It's the Smith & Wesson machine. Jerry West. He was a lap down. I don't know if he pitted or what, but he went high to let the lead lap car, Neil Odegaard, by. He's a lap down. Now I'm starting to wonder. I'll go back and check the tape, but I'm assuming he pitted. Not exactly sure why, but definitely strategy possibly.
Well, yeah. I mean, the race has got a feeling that it could go. You know, green flag. Obviously, it's Martinsville. Anything can happen with these guys coming off the turns, going into the turns. So that could change in a heartbeat here. As Mark Whitley's closing in on the back of Bob Skinner. Oh, by the way, Tina said out there, "Be quiet, Ethan. He ain't downshifting." No.
Looking back here, I don't think Gerald West, going back to Gerald West, I don't think he pitted. He went really high out of the corner. Well, that makes me think he might have gotten a little bit of damage or something from missing a corner or something.
John out there talking to the Nightbot. I hear you.
Does he know that won't talk back?
You know, I had one guy one night that was out there fighting with him, and I was like, dude, you're going to lose. So I was like, whatever.
I believe we've hit that point in the run where Brian Johnson's lead on second starts to shrink a little bit. Brian Johnson really good on that short run, but might be using a little bit more tire than he wants as the second and the rest of the field starts to slowly close in.
Yeah, they are. He's still got a 3.4 second lead, though, so he could give up a little bit and still be out front. He is modulating through a few laps. Problem is, look at this. Bob Skinner and Mark Whitley both slammed the outside wall. Like I said, oh, how it could change so much right there. We're under caution. And I know that's not who it was in red.
I believe it was the 23 of James Hackworth Jr.
Let's go back on him and see what we got. That. Well, you know, Robert Moyer likes to see that because that's one of the ones he's trying to jump over on the start.
That was an interesting little wreck there. I'm not sure if you've gotten up to it yet, but
not yet. I'm going back right now. We'll go back one more time here. Let's see if we see it here. See if I went back far enough. I need to probably go back one more time. Had to find it a little bit. I see him going around Zach Hall. What did you see on the replay?
I saw the 09 or the 99, excuse me, of Neil Odegaard and James Hackworth Jr. racing together into the corner. I'm not sure what happened. If it looked like Neil Odegaard sent it into the corner a little bit further than I would have, and got to the quarter panel of James Hackworth and just spun him around, and James got into the wall. But I'm not sure if that's what happened. I'll go back and check the replay a little bit more, but 99 was there, and him and the 23 made contact.
I think I finally got back to it. I think it was way back here. Wow. Think about everything, man, happened so fast here, too. Oh, yeah, the 99 just luckily drove it into the turn there too hard, and 23 was there, and just kind of one of those, you know, real estate closed up between the two, and like I said, 23 paid the price, went to the wall. James Hackworth on that one, so hate that on his end. Wow.
You say things happen so quickly. That's what happened. Going back, Neil entered the car normally. There was nothing wrong with his entry there. I'm assuming he thought that 23 was going to let him go, and then that hole closed up. But Neil was already in it. His pace car is getting ready to pull off here.
It is. Pace car is about to pull off here. So we're going about green flag racing. Well, it's definitely mixing up a lot here for the point side here. Brian Johnson's loving it here. Pace car's in. Here we go. Going about green flag racing. Going to be lap 118 when they cross the line. We are. Green flag's flying. Let's see who gets the run off going into turn one. So go side to side. Bob Skinner's on the outside. He's going to deal with Mark Whitley right there on his inside line, as I think that's the preferred line. He's going to take it. Here comes old Robert Moyer. He pushes on the inside of the 82 there a little bit. Neil Odegaard right there behind him.
Sir Mark Whitley looking like he's staying with Brian Johnson for the time being. Is a good side-by-side battle between Bob Skinner and Robert Moyer behind them.
Absolutely. Now that 99 machine got back on the lead lap. He was fast earlier on. Definitely something he could pull this thing back here to Cedric Hunter, marred back in traffic. And 6 spot, Randy Fast back there in 7th, Gerald Weth in 8. James Hackworth Jr. is moving it up there in the 8th spot. He's battling around a little bit with him. As old Zach Hall still, he's 2 laps down. Now he's got enough time to get this on. Look at old Cedric Hunter dives on the inside of Bob Skinner. Bob's caught on that high side. He's trying to figure out a way to get back down low.
Yeah, that's definitely where you want to be. It looks like he's going to be able to squeeze in behind Cedric Hunter, and they're all going to become single file as the race for lead is up front between Brian Johnson and Mark Whitley.
Absolutely. There you go. Mark Whitley's definitely up front. Had about a 4/10 lead over, well, actually, Brian Johnson got about a 4/10 lead over Mark Whitley. Nobody's been able to do anything with that man up here. Oh, Gerald West up in the wall. He gets out of the way of everybody. Good driving job by him. Let's see if that 77 get up there. Looks like he used his fast fix and got his car clean. But man, look at him come out of the turn right there. Wow, he came out that thing sideways drifting.
Yeah, he did. I just noticed something in the hood of Brian Johnson's car, the tragic airplane accident that involved so many of the Team Hendrick family members and crew members that happened, I believe, just over 17 years ago, earlier this month. And nice to pay respect to them and the Grey Ghost as well.
That's it. Grey Ghost. That's what he's out there driving tonight. Also, I think his teammate has also got one of those two out there. So definitely teammate of Zach Hall out there. Brian Johnson got the Grey Ghost. And right now he is ghosting that thing out front, running pretty good. Normally got a Mountain Dew soda can machine, but Mark Whitley, he's got to be driving that car hard because every time he comes out of the turn, he's almost sideways.
Just trying to stay with Ryan Johnson. I think he's found something. He might be a little bit loose, but he's found something that's sticking with Brian pretty well as he's going to go try and chase that one down. And Ryan Johnson won stage 2.
Absolutely. Look at that Neil Odegaard battling on with old Robert Boyer. Robert Boyer, he is using that high side to his advantage. He's going in the turn, very arced up high to the high line, but he's getting a run coming off. And look at Neil Odegaard, just can't hold the car down or can't get that run coming off the turn. Wow. That's the first time I've seen anybody use that high line to their advantage.
Nobody's making it work as he gets that run off and really holding Neil down in the middle of the corner, which is where that determines your exits. You see Neil start to push up there, and he's going to get by the 16 with that move.
Yes, he is. We'll see a crossover move. One thing I always like seeing on here, these dynamic tracks, start seeing that track turn black out there, the rubber building up on the track. I love seeing it. Oh, Robert smacked the wall a little bit right there.
He did nice save by the 16, and then Cedric checking up in time to make sure he didn't hit him.
Absolutely. Well, I was talking about, like I said, folks, if you can watch it, you watch the beginning of the race and watch throughout the race, you'll see those turns. They'll start to turn color, start to turn all black. That means the rubber's being laid down. And that's another thing. These guys should start searching around to find what they need speed-wise around here. Not many places you can go around here to find, but they might start searching around here in a little bit.
It's going to be early in those two. In the lighter lane down there, the concrete, as you see the 16 of Robert Moore going to the high side there and getting into the 13, and the caution's going to come out there.
Oh, hate to see that on Robert's end. Man, he had it right there, just lost it coming out. Cedric Hunter was right there long, and boom, they just got together as we was watching that one there live as it happened. So, hate to see that, man, for the Blimpie car running really good. He definitely got enough time. He's obviously got a fast fix and be able to get that thing fixed and get back out there running again.
Yeah, hoping he didn't take his fast fix. I don't think he did, but if he did, that could hurt him a lot, maybe. I'm not sure. Depends on where his damage was.
Well, take 4 tires.
Yeah, I think you have to. There's still 70 laps to go in this race, which will go by quickly, but it's going to go by a lot slower if you don't have fresh tires.
Absolutely. Definitely got to have those 4 tires and fuel here. So everybody's going to come down pit road. Still got a long way to go. I say a long way. It's a lap. It's 133. Obviously, Brian Johnson has led both of the, well, I don't want to say both of them. I think Mark Whitley took the first stage by staying out. He definitely, Brian Johnson, led the second stage because we was under green flag on that one. But right now, definitely a interesting race here, so to speak.
So as you see, Zach Hall going to look to get one of his 2 laps back now as Randy Fiash, who took the lead, is going to pit this time.
Randy understands that every point's valuable. He's sitting 6 in point right now. So definitely, bonus point right there helps him out.
Yeah, I'm assuming, Martin Johnson will take over the lead. No big position shakeups there. I don't think Neil Odegaard will be sitting 3rd.
Well, Zach Hall's trying to get this thing back on the lead lap. Get it back out there and running. He's currently sitting in 9th because it's going to be a disastrous day for him if he sits back here in the 9th place spot.
Yeah, he's going to go 1 lap down after he gets this waiver on now. More caution, that's going to put him back in contention to gain some spots.
No doubt about it. Man, up front, Brian Johnson, though. As you got Neil Odegaard right there. You got Mark Whitley sitting in 2nd. Bob Skinner sitting in 4th. Robert Moyer back up in the 5th spot. Randy Fiash right there in 6th. Cedric Hunter 7th. James Hackworth's 8th. Zach Hall's at the 9th. Gerald West there in the 10th place spot. Brandon Mullins, only car out of here tonight, unfortunately. One of the chase contenders. So, what is that word that they use on the NBC? Chase implications. Is that what they say? Yeah,
definitely a popular word among them, and just hearing some of that drama over the radio network of the drivers talking about that incident between the two teammates earlier with Zach and Brian, but chase implications are a big one. I feel like that affected Zach, but he's managed to get 3 of his laps back, and going to be really happy if he can get that 4th back.
Well, I'll say it's also chase complications too here, because these guys are being complicated about trying to win this thing and complicated on how they're going to get back up here and try to figure out a way to do it. Here we go. Pace cars in. Got to go green flag racing. Brian Johnson's going to get a dive. Actually, Mark Whitley hangs back a little bit, try to get it timed just right if he can. These guys go on green, so that's what he was waiting on. Brian Johnson gets a jump out front. Well, they all head in there. Look at Randy drive that thing on the inside of Gerald right there. As Mark Whitley's trying, but well, these guys are stacked up in the back.
Yeah, they are. As you see, Bob Skinner get a good run in the middle, but he overdrove the middle a little bit, and that's going to give the exit speed to Neil Odegaard. As Neil Odegaard not falling back too quickly in 3rd place.
No doubt about it. Cedric Hunter's not running the place he wants to be. Right there, Randy Fast right there, man, along with Robert Moyer Jr. They definitely are the two that are wanting to run this thing nose to tail right now. Robert, hang on to it. Boy, Neil Odegaard almost lost it coming out of turn.
Hanging on to it, though, so he's not even going to lose a spot. Just a little bit of time to Mark Whitley and Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson, comfortable 0.3 of a second lead at the line that time. That'll update this time, obviously, as they come out of turn 4, come across the stripe, marking 61 laps to go as he extended that lead just by a little bit.
No doubt about it. Well, folks, hey, like I say, I've got Ethan up here in the booth with me tonight here. Appreciate him coming out here tonight. It's Saturday, calling us race, giving somebody to talk to out here. It's always good. It's always good to get a driver's perspective also. I mean, you know, like you said, you run the NIS race here. You know how this track performs. It's been a while since I've run it here. I just know the braking and coming off the turns and whatnot. But you've been able to experience the dynamic side of what's happening here. And what are you seeing? I mean, you seeing what these guys, I mean, what you see anything out here differently you would do on this track?
Not really, to be honest. I can't see it, but I might be messing with my brake bias a little bit as the run goes on. I was doing that. I was doing that at Martinsville, actually, and I've done that a little bit in Extreme Motorsports 99 series that I run in, but brake bias is really going to be that main thing that I can't tell if they're doing, but that might be the only thing I would really change. As Mark Whitley driving that line that I was talking about earlier at that late arc, it's going to give him a little bit of exit speed, and we'll see if he can use that to his advantage to catch up to Brian Johnson.
Well, it looks like the same thing's happening with old Robert Moyer. He's doing that high-end arc there going in. Kind of really slow going in, getting the speed coming off. Usually that's what I always talk about, slow in, fast off. And that's kind of one of them road racing terms too there. And he's using it to his advantage right now. He's holding off the 54 Randy, which he needs to if he can come out of here with a good finish there with James Hackworth's having the trouble he's got. Robert might come out of here pretty good, leapfrogging those two guys and even leapfrogging up above old Brandon. So he might be looking really good there at the cutoff line. 5th place coming out of here.
Yeah, but that's just for this race. We still got 2 more races left in this round before the field resets down to 4 drivers that go on to Homestead, Miami to fight for a championship. But always getting ahead early feels good, especially if you can keep that gap.
Absolutely. Well, definitely going into a good track like Texas and then coming in, because Robert said Texas one of his good tracks. And you feel good about coming out of a place like Martinsville. Martinsville, it's almost like a plate track. It has its unknowns to it. I mean, we can see right there, every lap after lap, the 77 coming out, the unknown to him is, well, he is definitely losing that thing. I just don't know if it's just him getting back on the throttle too soon, because you can hear, I mean, you got so much of a rear gear, so you've got so much RPM. I mean, he is coming out of that thing just short tracking it sideways. And everybody died.
Oh, I'm back. We're good. I think it's that line I was talking about. That line, you're going to get a lot more speed, but you're going to get... Excuse me. Wow. I got a little ahead of myself. You're going to get a lot more wheel spin because those tires, you're going to be faster, and you're going to be wanting to stomp it more because you're going to be slower. But those...
All right. Well, he was giving us an explanation, and all of a sudden, boom, he gone. He'll be back here in a second. what he's basically saying is he's going into the turn really slow. Coming out, you got a lot of grip, and that's the product of if a car's pushing going in, you slow it down so much, and you think you're going so slow that you try to speed it up too fast, you get too much wheel spin coming off the turn, and can loop that thing back around. So that's what you don't want to see. But he's trying everything he can to run it down. Odegaard right there in third. That's something that Mark don't want to see, is that 99 get by him.
I'm back.
He's back. He's back.
Mysteriously appearing, but yeah, that would definitely not be good for Mark, as that means Odegaard's just one step closer to getting to Brian. Well, whether that'll happen, I'm pretty sure Mark's hoping and confident that won't happen if he can't catch him, but that'd definitely throw a stick into the gearbox, as that would change a lot. Is Mark entering really high in the middle of the corner. I think that's contributing to his looseness and really just slowing him down.
Yeah. You know what? And now the man who probably would love to see the 99 go around Neil right there, go around Mark, would be Cedric Hunter sitting there in fourth place spot, because one thing would be about it, be one more closer to him. But two, that would put two non-chase drivers 1 and 2 right now. And that definitely, any other chase drivers helps them out, because it bunches all them up and they don't gain as many spots or points or whatnot.
Yeah, that would shrink the gap, which would make everybody that's in the chase behind Mark Whitley a lot more excited, especially since Mark got that bonus point earlier.
Absolutely. That definitely would help them out a whole lot right there. So they're definitely rooting on the 99 and Neil Odegaard to run him down. See old Bob Skinner currently right there in fifth place spot. Robert Boyer still hanging on to 6. He's right in front of Randy. And to give you an update on that, Robert came in here 8th in points. They're dead even from 5th down. They're all dead even, all right, when they come in. Now, obviously, some of them led some laps and whatnot, but Brandon Mullen, who came in here with a 1-point bonus over those guys, so not only, let's say, we'll use Robert for an example here, he's in 8th spot. He's 4 points, 5 points out of Brandon Mullen as of right now. Well, folks, guess what? He's 5 positions ahead, or right now 5 positions on Brandon Mullen right now.
That would make them tied in points, which would really make Texas and Phoenix a lot more important for these guys. And I'm hearing a little bit of Robert dropping in and out. I'm assuming that means blinking, which is not good anywhere, but especially at short tracks and super speedways.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, then you also got Randy right there, who is sitting, obviously he's 6th place in points. He's going to come out of here with a good spot here. Now, he's only 1, 2, 3 points and behind Brandon Mullen. So for even though he's sitting where he's at right now, he's 4 points ahead. So he would definitely leapfrog ahead of him. James Hackworth Jr. is the only one that probably wouldn't benefit as much, because as of right now, he's sitting 4 points back, and he's obviously, he's only got about 2 points ahead of him right now. Because he hasn't led a lap or anything like that, but so he would gain a little bit. So Robert would be the one who would definitely benefit if it stayed right now. Randy would benefit right now, and you got to look. Mark Whitley's the one who's really going to come out of here singing pretty darn good if he was to stay in a second, because he's right now in 5th place in the cutoff, and he definitely would leapfrog way up there. He might even leapfrog right past Zach Hall.
Yeah, he'd not be singing as loudly as if he won the race, but that lap car of James Hackworth, which went 2 laps down just a couple laps ago, spaced a little bit more distance between him. But talking about points, 3 races per stage or per round in the chase, or everything resets. That's only 3. That's 3 races you have to be on your game 3 times in the chase plus Homestead. That's just a lot of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Cedric Hunter just made it around Neil Odegaard. Says he's going to set his sights on trying to run down that 77 now. Cedric came out of here. He's coming in here. He's leading the points with a +5 on bonus, with Bob Skinner sitting in 2nd right there with a +5. Now Bob Skinner's running in 5th. He's had a few runs, not too bad tonight. But it's definitely going to be interesting. Brian Johnson pulls this win off. Basically, you come in here and say he just stole one away from the the chase drivers, but hey, it happens. That's the way it is. I mean, sometimes you win some, you lose some, definitely not over with. He's only still got 36 laps to go, and anything can happen here at Martinsville.
Yes, sir, it can, as we're coming back to 35 laps to go. Brian Johnson slowly extending that lead as Mark Whitley, I'm noticing, entering a lot harder into the corner than Brian, but Brian's beating him off the corner, which is just putting more space in between them.
And that's what you want, man. Be able to put some space in between each other right now as they are closing in here with 35 to go. They're clicking off the laps left and right here as we're live here tonight. Martinsville Speedway. That's right, Martinsville. They call it the paperclip track here. 2 turns and 2 drag strips. That's what we got. So one on each end here. I've heard it say the paperclip, the conveyor belt, and everything else. But nonetheless, been a good one here for the RacinFreeks Sim Racing League, sponsored by Stock Car Racing Experience. A good experience of a race it has been so far. Now that man up front, Brian Johnson, he's dominated pretty much most of this race here tonight. Led 150 laps. Gerald West is around.
Yeah, that's going to bring out the caution, which Zach Hall really wanted to see. That'll put Zach Hall back on the lead lap with that lucky dog. That's going to put a big smile on Zach's face. Maybe not such a big smile on teammate Brian Johnson's.
Absolutely not. But definitely as far as him and his points battle goes, because he was in danger sitting back to where he was. He's come in 3rd points. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he spun right in front of the leader. Almost collected Zach Hall in that. Brian Johnson got by on it too. Like you said, there's nowhere to go once these cars go around. They kind of get stuck in the middle of the track.
Yeah, as you see, the majority of the field is going to pit here. James Hackworth going to stay on the track to get a lap back. It's the 54, I believe, of Randy Fyash is staying out this time as well. He's going to lead that lap. Zach Hall passing everybody, getting back on the lead lap. It's really benefiting Zach Hall a lot there.
Now, here's my thing is, once you lead a lap, you get 1 bonus point, and that's pretty much all you're going to get because you're not going to lead the most laps out here. At some point, what are they doing there? I mean, why not come in with the rest of the field here and get 4 tires of fuel? Because you're going to have to pit no matter what. He can't stay out.
He could, but that's not what he's doing. I'm not sure why he's staying out. It's definitely something, if he manages to get a good position, or even post-race, we'll just have to ask. But that is kind of perplexing to me. I don't know why that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I think he already stayed out before and got the 1 bonus point. Unless he hasn't led a lap at all and wanted to at least get that 1 bonus point, I can understand it then. But I think he did earlier on in the race. But either way, I mean, once you get it to one time, staying out again, definitely is not going to benefit you. Come on in, go in, get the 4 tires of fuel with everyone else. Because it's not going to be a fuel mileage or anything like that style race. Still going to be interesting though. Zach Hall gets back on the lead lap. Don't count him out. It's going to be back there in 8th place spot. You got Mark Whitley right there in 2nd. Brian Johnson's going to be out front. Cedric Hunter's going to be in 3rd. Neil Odegaard there in 4th. Bob Skinner sitting in 5th. You got Robert Moyer still in 6th. Randy Fast right there in 7th. Zach Hall 8th. James Hackworth Jr. sitting in 9th. First man a lap down. Gerald West 3 laps down here in 10th. And Brandon Mullen the only one out of this one here tonight. So when they get back green flag here, Ethan, it's going to be probably about 27, 26 laps to go. Business is picking up.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a good small shootout here, like a heat race. No saving tires at this point. You're going all out, going for the win.
Absolutely. There you go. Yeah. What do you call these guys going to be doing?
They're gonna be heat racing. They're gonna be brawling.
And what's that other thing you tell them they do with the foot?
Oh, they're going to be thunderfooting it out of the corner.
There you go. Yeah, Ethan loves the thunderfooting thing. We give it to him. Hey, been a good one so far. Pace cars in. Here we go. Like we said, it's going to be glad 27 to go when they cross that line. They come around the turn here. And wait till that green flag flies. And it does. Brian Johnson leading them into turn number 1. Mark Whitley up high. Neil Odegaard's going to try to do it. So Mark's going to try to drive that thing down as deep as he possibly can. But look at the pull Brian Johnson gets off the turn. Now he's got his hands full with Cedric Hunter.
Looking back further in the field, I'm not going to count Zach Hall out of this. He's doing as much as he can to get back through the field. Currently looking to the inside of Bob Skinner, as he's moving up into the 5th spot now. And Cedric Hunter moves up into 2nd.
No doubt about it. 32 machine definitely on a terror out there, trying to do everything he possibly can to keep it up. But boy, look at that. They are stacked up all single file. Brian Johnson out front. Hello Kitty behind him saying, I'm mad at the world right now. I want that win. I want that lead. Punch my ticket to Homestead. So I ain't got to worry about it in the next 2 races.
Yeah, and he's coming now. Like I said, he's not saving tires. This is Brian Johnson. He's sticking right tight on Brian Johnson's bumpers. Neil Odegaard looking like he got a bad exit there. He's going to fall back. And Zach Hall moving up into 4th. Now, I'm telling you, he's going to be a threat to win this.
No doubt about it. Zach Hall, I don't know if he got a bad exit there or just a little bit of help coming out of the exit. But either way, it was a close deal between him and Zach Hall in the 99 machine. That's going to put Robert Moyer in old 99. They get together. 99 hangs on. Neil Odegaard does in the back there. Wow. But you're right. The 32 is coming. And the number 13 up there, Cedric Hunter, he's definitely been able to hold with Brian Johnson. Time's running out here. That's the thing. Time will click off very fast at this track.
My internet spiked up a little bit there. I couldn't understand what you were saying, but
I'm just saying.
Still tight up front.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, what I'm saying is it's time here. I mean, we got 22 laps to go. That can go by very quickly. So time's not on Zach Hall or those guys' side.
No, it is not. And Zach's got a lot of ground to make up as the front 3 nose to tail. Zach Hall creeping into the picture a little bit there. You're going to lose a lot of speed on exit. Cedric, I would say normally he's just stalking the 28, making him make a mistake, but with as far back as he is, I don't think that's what's happening.
Yeah, right now, I think Brian Johnson's saving a little bit of tires because he understands still, even with 20 laps to go, it still could come down to some tire wear there, and he could wear those things out. And he's been able to jump out some big leads before. Now he's starting to pull away ever so slightly on that number 13 of Cedric Hunter. Cedric just cannot get the pull, and they're going to have their hands full here soon with that 32 machine. If he can get up there close enough, hey, don't count out the bump and run, Ethan.
Oh, you saw that at Martinsville in real life a couple weeks ago, and I want to do something. I'm not sure what it is, but this 13 just keeps messing up the center of the corner, which is letting that 28 escape.
No doubt about it. Well, you got to also look, Bob Skinner hanging on the 5th spot. Robert Moyer back there hanging on that 6th spot. Neil Odegaard right there behind him. Randy Fayos right there also. As Neil Odegaard's all over him. You got James Hackworth Jr. back there. So good, like I say, those drivers back there, good points day for them coming out of here too.
Yeah, as this 32 is making it interesting. Getting real close to the back bumper of Mark Whitley that last corner, and caution's out again.
Caution's out. What we got here? Who's around?
It might have been the 32 of James Hackworth, possibly? 23, excuse me.
All right, let's go back on him and see.
No, it was the 86 of Jerry West.
Ah, okay. Yeah, he's not had the night. Well, this track tonight's just not been nice to him.
No, it is not, and I think he just announced he's going to park it. Brian Johnson pits, the 13 of Cedric Hunter stays out. I'd be very shocked if he, and so does the 54 Randy Fiash. I'd be very surprised if they pit.
Smart move, what you think?
Yeah, I think this late in the race, Cedric might not have lost that much ground if he had pitted, but definitely the 54 Randy Fiash, that's going to help him out a lot.
Here's the thing about it. Everybody behind Cedric here, though, pits. Wow, he's going to be sitting on some older tires, and these guys are going to be coming on strong. And that Zach Hall took 2.
I told you Zach Hall is going to be a threat to win it. He'll be starting the outside tire spin. If Zach Hall gets a bad restart, that could end the night for a lot of good guys if he just wrecks out.
Wow. Well, this is going to be interesting. Cedric Hunter's going to be out there almost a sitting duck. He's going to have to make that hole back into Hello Kitty wide because the 32 of Zach Hall's going to be there. Bob Skinner's going to be in 3rd. But Brian Johnson's been fast. 14 to go. He could come flying through this field.
Big penalty for Mark Whitley speeding on pit road. He's going to have to drop to the tail end of the field. That might end his chances to win tonight.
Well, I hate to hear that, John, out there, man. John Marine out in the chat said, man, just heard grandmother passed away, man. And like I said, strong warrior, lived to 93. Wow, I'll tell you what, I remember my grandmother, she lived to 95, so just can't imagine, but that's a long time. And still hate to see it either way, or hate to hear that.
Yeah, we'll be thinking about him and his family this week.
No doubt about it. Well, here you go. About to set this thing up here. Is, when that lights go off, there's going to be almost 11 to go. What do you think? Boy, as a driver, I mean, you've got Brian Johnson's dominated this thing all race long. He wants to win. But you got 3 guys up front that are all chase contenders. How much do they push it to try to win?
With Brian Johnson sitting in 4th, I don't see him passing 3 cars in the remaining, I believe it's going to be 11 laps. It seems like a tall task, especially as somebody as hungry as Zach Hall, being 4 laps down at one point, restarting 2nd.
Well, we're going to answer all the questions here shortly, as Cedric Hunter's going to be out front. Zach Hall's going to be right there, Bob Skinner. And the reason I say that is, I mean, you know, do you push it, take a chance of wrecking your car, come out of here with a good points night? Either way, it don't matter. We're going to see what happens right here. Pace cars in as they coming around to take the green flag, and there will be 11 to go. Brian Johnson gets a good jump. Well, he does get a very, very good jump. Neil Odegaard tried to drive that thing in high. You got to remember, Brian's sitting on 4 fresh tires. Here's the 2 things we got to think about, Ethan. Obviously, the last lap, that ends it. 5 laps to go. Caution comes out. That ends it. Boy, look at Bob Skinner drove it in there.
Zach Hall is going to clear the 13 of Cedric Hunter, slide down right in front of him. Zach Hall 4 laps down at one point. Now your leader is Brian Johnson. His teammate's going to work on Cedric for 2nd.
No doubt about it. Those 4 tires are definitely helping old Brian Johnson use that high line coming off the turn a little bit. Not helping out old Cedric Hunter any bit there on the inside. But you definitely want, Zach wants to see them battle out for at least another 4 or 5 laps like they are right now. Because if he can hold him up, you know, definitely, you know, I think Brian's going to have to get on the inside if he wants that pass.
I wouldn't count it out. I'd prefer, if I was him, I'd prefer to get down there, but I'm not counting that outside lane out. The 32 made it work. I think the 28's going to try. He's sticking on the outside of that 13 with a run. Good, really good run down the back stretch.
Well, I see what the 13 is doing. He is protecting that inside lane. We're just going to see. He's probably going to have to pinch him a little bit. And he did. Boy, drove it off the turn that time. That means he's going to get the drive going into the turn. Cedric Hunter tries to drive it into the turn here. If he can clear him, all right, we're going to see if he can run down Zach Hall now. Well, nope, he's back at it again. They bumped, touched.
Contact.
That's not what you want to see. Wow.
Big contact as the 13 dove it off into the corner with just 6 laps to go. That's what battling for Martinsville. 6 laps to go. You get your Homestead, or get your ticket to Homestead if you win, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, but I tell you what, like you said, drivers, don't forget about that. If he get back up there, chase or not, Brian Johnson will be like, look, kitty, I might knock that thing out the way.
Yeah, like I said, I think my prediction might have been right. I don't think Brian's just going to have enough time.
Not
Cedric
now.
Hall's smiling, looking at that just under a second lead to the Hello Kitty car.
Yeah, he's not now. He would have had a guy around that 13 earlier on. As 4 laps just going to run out of time. Zach Hall's going to have to run into problems here as we're seeing this one close in here in the gap. Very interesting. My thing is that Brian Johnson gets up to the back end of the 13. Is he going to remember what happened? In the back there, look at Robert Moyer making waves there on the inside of Bob Skinner.
Yeah, it may not be the bump and run for the win, but I'm pretty certain we might see a bump and run for something like a top 4, or maybe,
and he did. Boy, bumped
the 28 and the 13.
And like you said, he definitely remembered it, and that stacked up Bob Skinner with Cedric Hunter, and brings, look at Robert Moyer diving on the inside. He understands that he definitely, Robert's in the wall though. Cedric Hunter got into him with 2 to go. Caution's out, it's over with. Wow.
And with this victory, Zach Hall is going to punch his ticket to Homestead, Miami to fight for a championship. A lot of drama in last 6 laps here.
Yeah, hate to see that, man, on Robert's point right there. Came out of the turn. He was side by side there with Cedric Hunter. Cedric was Not to say, yeah, Cedric just came down just a little bit, looked like, and then Robert was there, and they got in each other. I'll tell you what, like you say, that's the drama, man, that builds here at this kind of track. As they came out of it, yeah, Cedric came down right into Robert. The problem is boy, that just killed the all day that Robert had, because now James Hackworth and Randy Fayos both went around. But let's also take you back to, if we can't take you back far enough here, between the contact between Brian Johnson and Cedric Hunter when they came around each other. So I can take it back far enough there. Oh, let's go back one more time.
That was late race drama for sure. Zach Hall was 4 laps down after getting into a wreck at one point, making all of them up to win the race.
All right, here we go. Oh, yeah, bump and run. Boy, the 28 just went right in there. He just did the bump and run on him. I mean, he didn't forget about it. And boom, just went all in there. Well, man, winning it tonight, that man there, Zach Hall, putting it in victory lane. Happy camper punches his ticket to Homestead. We was watching some of the replays there, some of the action that was happening on the end of this one. Wow. Well, let's get some of these guys up here. I know we've got Brian Johnson. Bring him up here. And Zach Hall. And Bob Skinner. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to bring up Bob Skinner. Let's get a talk in with him, Ethan.
All right. Well, Bob Skinner, Ethan Kurtz finished third tonight. A lot of drama happening in front of you, unfolding. What was it like sitting in third and fourth for the majority of that last part of the race?
I had a good view of it. I was just trying to pay attention to see if there was going to be a gap. The end of the race, tensions, everybody wants a good finish and push for it. So I was able to skate by, hold on to third, and it feels good. I ran second for most of the race, so I was disappointed on the third run. I got shuffled back and had to battle, but it was a good race. I'll take it. Good for the points.
Yeah, you had a strong run here. That's really going to help you in the points going into Homestead. What's your focus going to be in Texas and Phoenix?
Just playing smart all year. I'm not overly aggressive, and I'm usually not up front towards the beginning, but somehow towards the end, if things fall my way, I tend to be up there. So I'm just going to play smart and try to be there, and I think the finishes will take care of themselves.
Like you said, good run tonight. Anybody you'd like to thank?
You guys put on a great broadcast every week. I thank you so much. Thanks to all the fans, iracing. Thanks to Tina, of course. She's always rooting me on and helping me out. And thanks to Robert and Zach and being some of the best admins here and really helping me with a lot of stuff. And Brandon and Cedric, some of the greatest teammates one could ask for. So thanks to everybody. Really appreciate it.
Hey, congrats again and good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, fellas. Have a good night.
All right, that's Bob Skinner, the rock star right there, man. Coming out here in third place. Good points night here coming out of this one. And like you said, probably tired went out of this one. Well, bring up the second place, man. Boy, the drama right there with him. Dominated most of the race. Just could not get around 13 in time to run down the winner tonight. We'll bring up old Brian Johnson. Let's get off with him.
All right, Brian Johnson, you finished second, but not without some controversy. What happened there at that last restart and pitting and the rest of the race after that?
Well, I knew that 10-lap old tires with everybody pushing real hard wasn't gonna cut it, and I knew that some of the guys near the back or middle of the pack were gonna take 2 or no tires, and then Cedric ended up taking none. I took 4, and then a couple other guys took 2. But I knew I'd have a little bit of the edge with 4, and I think I might have had something for Zach there if I didn't get hung up in fighting for second there. But definitely after leading most of the race, the only guy I'd want to lose the race to is Zach, because he he really fought his way back through the field. You know, he ended up being 4 laps down at one point, and not a whole lot of caution to get his laps back. So he raced his way back up, and he definitely deserves to win.
Yeah, you did, and you led the majority of this race. Domination, I would say, is a fair word to use. You've done anything differently at the last part of the race?
Yeah, I had to adjust to the track a little bit. There was the track was it had a whole lot more rubber than it did at the beginning of the race, obviously. But yeah, the low line, it was just so rubbered up, and especially getting into turns 1 and 3, there's so much rubber. The car just kept sliding on top of it. You couldn't really get slowed down like you used to. But yeah, I had to adjust to the track a little bit, but I couldn't adjust enough to get the same amount of speed that I was at the beginning of the race compared to the other guys. So it's just a matter of the track, and I kept having to adjust for it, and it just that rubbered up track wasn't my kind of racetrack.
Yeah, you had a great run tonight. Not much better you could have finished. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I just gotta thank Robert for putting this league together. I gotta thank you guys for broadcasting this for all viewers to see. Gotta thank Zach. Me and him practiced a little bit early in the week. Actually, last Sunday when the NASCAR Monster Cup Series was at Martinsville, me and him and a couple other buddies, we rode up there and watched the race. We had a really good time, and yeah, it's always good to be in RacinFreeks. It's a great league to be in.
Yeah, congrats again, and good luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you, Ethan.
All right, man, I'll tell you what, that's old Brian Johnson right there, man, happy camper. He came out of here, definitely pulled it off in second, did everything he could do right there. Just got caught up a little bit, racing really hard with the 13 there. Like you just said at the end part there, and just ran out of time. Let's go down here to Victory Lane, though. Talk to happy camper here, punched his ticket to Homestead. Zach Hall, Joe White in the booth. Got a copy?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Well, Zach, I tell you what, all race long, he was fighting back. He got about 4 laps down at one point, came fighting back up there. Took 2 tires on that last pit stop. We were talking about Brian Johnson. He got caught up racing with the 13 back there. We were saying if he probably would have got around him, he might have been there with you. What was going through your mind on those closing laps?
Oh, man, just hitting my marks. Like, I know on that restart there, I had a pretty good jump. Didn't spin the tires. I knew Cedric was on older tires, of course. And my biggest thing was just getting in there nice and clean, and I wheel hopped, of course, in turn 1. It went up a little bit in the middle, and luckily tracked her back down and got the run off, and really backed up the entry of 3 and 4, and was able to get that really good run off and clear Cedric. And I knew if I could just get out in front, I feel like I could hold off whatever was coming, just because I feel like I could just hit my marks and stick to the bottom. They were going to have to move me if they wanted to get around me, pretty much. And I don't know, my brain's still racing from how that race just played out right there. I gave up with about 50 to go there because I was about to run out of fuel and had to pit because I had to take so many wave rounds. I had to do a full stint on the tires and stuff. But it's just amazing. Everything played out perfectly for this. Like, it's almost a dream come true.
Yeah, no doubt. A punch ticket to Homestead with a win tonight here. Man, battling out there. Like I said, they would have had to move you. Now, that brings up the question is, Brian Johnson, well, he did move to 13. I mean, a win's a win. If he would have got up there to the bumper, what do you think might have would have happened?
I think he would have tried to definitely maybe pressure me and move me up a little bit, but I feel like because me and Brian, like, we've practiced this whole week and we've worked together, and we're real tight. And I mean, I would expect it. I would expect the move just because I would probably do it, especially being in the race for the championship. But I mean, luckily didn't have to go there. Luckily got out there and shot out pretty far.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like I say, you got to hold up a little bit right there, but he's able to finish in second. You was able to pull this victory off here. Martinsville here tonight for the RacinFreeks Sim Racing League, sponsored by Stock Car Racing Experience. And, man, it was an awesome race. Like I said, played out, man. No, I couldn't play out any better for you here tonight. For the win, punch your ticket to Homestead. You ain't got to really worry about it too much on that end. You got anybody you want to thank out there for the win?
Oh yeah, I wanna thank especially Brian. We practiced really hard this week at Martinsville, and I think it really showed tonight how dominant our cars were, and we really got this place figured out. I love this place, so I'm really glad we did. And I also want to thank Nick Crawford too. He practiced with us, and it's also his birthday today, so happy birthday to him. He couldn't be with us tonight, but yeah, happy birthday to him, and I want to thank all the guys who came out tonight. I know Martinsville, some guys we got a low car count because I think some guys just don't like the beating and banging on Martinsville, but hey, I mean, this is what we love to do, and hopefully put a good on race on, and I want to thank the fans and you guys broadcasting, because you always do a great job.
Man, no doubt about it. It was an awesome race either way, man, we go here. But Zach Hall pulling off the victory tonight, punching his ticket to Homestead. Congratulations again, Zach.
Thank you, guys.
All right, man, I tell you what, definitely a happy camper right there, Ethan. What a race, what a finish. I mean, all we can say is in awe. Wow, Brian Johnson dominating it, but a late race caution and then pit strategy put Zach Hall out front, and then obviously some beating and banging out there, and it was just a typical Martinsville race. Any final thoughts?
Just reiterating what you said, it was a great race, great finish. A couple cautions to keep it interesting. No really long green flag run, and it's a great race overall with a lot of drama at the end. I'll comeback of the year story.
No doubt about it, man, and maybe it can earn him a title here at the RacinFreeks Sim Racing League, sponsored by Stock Car Racing Experience. Well, for myself, Joe White, and Ethan Kurtz here, we're leaving Martinsville here tonight. Next week, Saturday, we got Texas. That's right, big track, big time Texas there. So until then, everyone have a good night. We'll see you then.
Have you ever wanted to drive a real race car on a famous NASCAR track? The staff at Stock Car Racing Experience will suit you up, teach you what you need to know, and put you behind the wheel of a 160-mile-per-hour stock car on NASCAR's famous Pocono Raceway.
That was great. I enjoyed it. Unbelievable.
It's that unique, one-of-a-kind experience you'll never forget.
It was definitely worth it. The second time I did it, and I'm still shaking.
Call or register online at 877stockcar.com for a heart-pounding, once-in-a-lifetime experience. You won't forget it.